Boom bum. So Brock the Beast Lesnar. The name really paints a picture in your mind, doesn't it? He's a freaking Viking, at least Joe Rogan says so.
That's a freak of a man. That's like the high end of the genetic spectrum. Or you have the high end. You have Brock Lesnar, some weird instance where, you know, Vikings fucked Vikings for generation after generation, and their warrior bloodlines were passed on, and this motherfucker living in the woods in Minnesota, you know, he got the best of the best. His fucking head is that big, and all that's well and good, but at the end of the day, that motherfucker is a barbarian. The reason why he's so fucking good, he is a direct descendant from ancient giant warriors from thousands of years ago. That ain't a regular dude, man.
I mean, if he said it, then it's probably true. He has the craziest genes humanly possible. His fists are as big as my head. His head is probably as big as my torso. I mean, and he is as big as my car. He truly is the beast. He really changed the sport forever because his brief presence in the UFC brought in so many fans every time he fought that Dana made enough money for the next 5 years. Even me, as a kid, I started watching UFC because I saw Brock Lesnar in it. But some people don't credit him for that. I talk about it intensively, and even in my last video about the greatest fighters of all time, I talk about it a little bit. Go check that video out, the link is in the description below. A lot of fans really doubt his skills as a fighter. To those fans, I would really like to say,
seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
He can fight. He fought Frank Mir in his prime. Shane Carwin too. That's one of the greatest fights of all time in the UFC. You can go watch it, it's crazy. He beat fucking Randy Couture too. I mean, he was old, but Randy Couture was always old. He demolished Heath Herring, and Heath Herring is a really legit fighter. He even beat the shit out of Mark Hunt after all these years of layoff. Now he did lose to Kane, not this one. Kane with a C. But that was his probable weakness. I mean, he couldn't quite take a shock to his chin after his surgery and move forward. But again, we're talking about Kane over Velasquez here. He lost to Overeem too, but Overeem is not Overeem, he's Overeem. Come on, you cannot. That man is insane. He had a foot of his colon removed, or his intestine, I'm not sure about that, but you hit anyone to the body after surgery like that, they go down. Brock Lesnar's legacy truly gets overshadowed because his WWE background, but he could fight hard. He was absolutely a legit fighter, man, and he was so brave, probably the bravest fighter out there. I mean, he came out of a life and death case of diverticulitis and still fought after that surgery. His chin was softened, but I mean, he fought. You can't just dismiss him like that. He fought everyone you wouldn't want to face as a fighter. Whether it was Frank Mir and his bone-breaking jiu-jitsu skills, Shane Carwin's nuclear power. Just look at Alistair when he fought Brock and Kane. He was considered one of the greatest fighters back then. Kane is probably the greatest fighter without his injuries, and back then he did not have a lot. He even came back and fought the knockout artist in Mark Hunt. He always took the big risky fights. He was a lot of things, some of which I just mentioned, some of which you know of. And for a moment, let's assume that Brock Lesnar did not go to WWE and trained slowly and how you're supposed to. Learn everything step by step and slowly, like striking and jiu-jitsu. Then he would have been definitely the greatest MMA fighter of all time. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the kind of results he produced, the way he became a champion on his third or fourth fight against Randy Couture, really gives you an argument that he could have been the best fighter of all time if he did not go to WWE and instead trained from the first day out of college. but it is what it is. Also, he is a brilliant businessman. He did not fight a lot, but he used his background as a WWE fighter and his name to rack up bills, man. I mean, he really changed everything with the fact that he came from WWE and the amount of eyes he was bringing in. He was paid so much more than anyone back in the day. I mean, if you compare his pay, anyone else's pay in that era, that's just baffling. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you don't like it, well, go make one of your own and be nice in the comments.